Yeah, hi, good morning guys, it's Mike here again at Global. Just a quick one, I just thought I'd do a quick video this morning. I had a really nice call with a client a couple of days ago, and it's just come to mind today. And one of the questions that was kind of stopping him investing in the property, or certainly it was the concern that was in the back of his mind, that was really kind of the difference between whether he was going to go in or go out, and it's a question that probably a lot of companies wouldn't really touch on, because it's not certainly not a nice word or a nice thing to talk about, and that's squatters. So what is a squatter? A squatter is somebody who's living in a property without paying rent, and you can't get them out or whatever. So he said to me, Mike, how do I know I'm not buying properties that are going to have squatters or have got squatters already? So I said, well, I think a lot of it comes down to management, and if any of you have watched my previous videos, you'll know I'm a big believer in the fact that management is such a huge factor in these types of investments working. And I think, you like I say, you can buy a great house in a great location, but if it's managed badly, it'll turn into a bad investment. So squatters, do we, in the last 10 or 12 years of selling houses in the US, have I seen squatters? Yeah, of course I have, yeah. So can it happen? Yes, it can. But my point is, I think it comes down to the management. And the bottom line is, number one, we would never allow you to close, and this is what I told the client, we would never allow you to close on a property that has a squatter in place. So we do our tenant checks, our rental checks, our the payment history of the tenant on the lease. We get the lease, the rent rolls. So we get all of these things before we allow you to close. And if there's any red flags, we would tell you not to buy the property, and you buy another property. And as you know, the fee and that you pay us and your deposit is fully transferable to an alternative property. So if there's anything wrong with the property or the tenants, you can simply sit down with one of the guys and choose another property. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and how I think people come across this issue, that buy properties not just in the US but the UK, Europe, anywhere, is bad management. Because properties are not sold with squatters in place. Squatters happen because you have a vacant house that might not be secured. So you might have somebody see that the house is not secured and they move into the property, and that is what a squatter is. So in my opinion, once a house is vacant, a good management company would secure the property and make sure it's secure so nobody can move into the property. So again, I think I just wanted to cover it, and it is a very touchy subject, and I kind of thought twice about doing the video, but it's not something we should be afraid to talk about, because it can happen. It can happen here in the UK, it can happen in Europe. People don't pay the rent, or they're living in a house for free. But again, it just comes down to the management, I think. And if you've got good management in place that vet the tenants correctly, do their research on the tenants, and secure vacant properties. Once the house is secure, don't leave it wide open for people just to move in, So I think, that's my opinion on it. And it's the client actually reserved with me and bought a really nice duplex in Cleveland. So I think we're just waiting on the inspection. But it was a good question. Him and his wife were very concerned and had read stories online about squatters and people living and not paying rent and stuff like that, which of course is one of the risks of buying a rental property. But I think there's a lot of factors involved, and it's not something that should stop you investing. I think you just need to be careful with, number one, who you buy the property from. Hopefully it's us. And number two, the management company they use. And again, we do our due diligence on the management companies. We do our research, we interview them before we start using them. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys this morning. I think it's a good point, and I think it's a point that maybe a lot of clients don't ask when it's in the back of their mind. And that's what I said to this client the other day. And I said, it's great that you brought it up with me, because not a lot of clients would. Not being scared to ask the question, but you know, it's an uncomfortable question to ask somebody. So I hope I've done the video all right, and it kind of clears up that point. And if you've got any more questions, obviously reach out to whoever you're dealing with. The website's above, email address above, as always, and you guys have a good day.